did you girls make it this far? By this time, we, a gang of 5 software engineers, are really very tired of answering to the same question over and over again. This seems to be the very first obvious question that pops out of everyone's mind when they hear about our first year anniversary of living happily together in the same apartment. Well, we don't blame them because statistics clearly states that a girl cannot get along that easily with another girl. There is an age-old assumption that if you put a bunch of women together, you are going to get a mass of hair pulling, nail scratching, yelling, cat fighting, and backstabbing. Maybe not as dramatic as that, but I hope you get the idea. Why is it that wherever there are a lot of females, there's bound to be a lot of drama? It seems as if men can get along so well and have a great time, whereas a woman will either be in tears or seething with anger at the end of a girl's night out. So why can't we get along? After sleepless research and intense Googling, I was able to arrive at a most logical conclusion. Women cannot get along with women due to 2 fundamental flaws in their character. A. Insecurity. B. Competition. Most of the posts in the Social Anxiety Support Forum clearly points that women are largely insecure and highly competitive. This insecurity makes it easier for women to pick on each other. For instance, we all have different dreams we are trying to achieve. What if we see another woman going for our same dream and maybe she was able to get to it faster? The insecurity creeps up and the jealousy arises. According to Dr. Hollingworth, a famous psychologist, this has something to do with the hormone estrogen, making women believe that they are the weaker sex thanks to centuries of brainwashing. Women believe that the only way to achieve their goal is being covered versus being directed. Now, if you all think that the 5 of us were ideal and did not have any difference of opinion for the past 1 year, then I'm afraid you all are very wrong. In fact, the 5 of us possessed all the qualities that I listed so far. Call it telepathy or whatever, I can sense that you all have a question running through your minds. In fact, the very same question that I mentioned during the beginning of my speech. Then how did you girls make it this far? The 5 of us, when we first decided to shift to a separate apartment, our instincts warned us beforehand about all of this. As people say prevention is better than cure, we started devising a plan which could eliminate the drama and ensure a pleasant stay for all of us. So why do you all think rules exist in a society?
To maintain order.
Okay.
As I said, prevention is better than cure.
Okay. According to Deborah Stone, the author of Policy Paradox, we have rules so that we can move along with each other, achieving what we are trying to achieve, respecting the rights and works of the others whom we live with. She also mentions that those states with stricter laws have fewer crimes compared to those states with lax laws as shown in the figure. The graph. Okay, it's not possible. Yes. The crime rate reduces as the laws become stricter. Now this lit a light on all our minds. If by nature we are not bound to move along with each other, we thought of devising rules which would at least force us to move along with each other. And hence, my friend Sindhu, the Dr. Ambedkar of our house, drafted the Constitution on August 31st, 2013 for the benefit of all of us. So this is the rule that we have in place. So, apart from the habitual work, the 2 additional burdens that fell on our heads were cooking and cleaning. With this plan in place, and once at night, and clean the house only once a week. If you see, Preeti is in red, so I have to cook on Monday mornings and Friday night, and I have to clean the house on Monday night. Trust me, this eliminated a lot of drama, like, oh my god, why do I have to cook every day? And why do I have to be the responsible grown-up and clean the house every day? Now you may all wonder what happens if one of us forgets to perform one's duty. As Ganderson aptly pointed, some of us have become so addicted to pointing fingers at others. And initially in our house too, there were a lot of finger pointings and backstabbings. But then we decided to mold the law so that we would avoid such bitter encounters. Henceforth, the punishment is made a little less strict. We have a slate that hangs in the hall. We would write the name of the culprit on the slate. So as we enter into our house, the first thing we would note is the slate, checking if our name is on it. And I forgot to mention that we all have equal rights to write on the slate. This way, we eliminated even the slightest chance of conflict that may arise because of pointing fingers to others' face. With this perfect rule book, there is no question of overburdening anyone. As long as each one of us does our duty, law and order is maintained and there are nil crimes. This ensures a pleasant stay for all of us. I strongly recommend all of you to follow this, of course, to whoever it applies to. And trust me, if it works for us, I'm pretty sure it is going to work for anyone. So now, if anyone asks me, so how did you girls make it this far? I guess I have a 7-minute answer to deliver.